honestly, you are not as damaged as James Buchanan Barnes, and I cannot fix you, and so therefore this relationship cannot work. Hi, my name is Ruth. If by chance you have never seen me before, I post videos on most Tuesdays, and I post a variety of different things on this channel. Sometimes I do clothing DIYs and upcycling and thrift videos, and then sometimes I do film and television recommendation videos, and then occasionally I do the odd vlog, or in a very special case, a music video reaction. So if any of that interests you, you can subscribe if you would like to, and let's get on with the video. So, love, amour, uthando. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about love as portrayed in the media. And by the media today, I am going to be meaning in film, in television, and in social media. And I'm going to be talking about love as portrayed in these three different media forums in three separate sections. Love and relationships, I feel like, are very, I don't know, it's weird. I feel like for my generation at least, for me at least, it's quite a complicated thing, and I have never been in a relationship, and quite honestly I'm okay with that. I genuinely just feel like it's never been right for me to be in a relationship. I have not had the self-standing, self-love, self-appreciation, self-knowledge enough to be in a relationship with someone. I have very other things to do than be in a relationship, that it takes a lot of work to be in one, so I am okay to not be in one. Yes. So, but also, even though I have made the decision that I don't want to be in a relationship, or that I haven't wanted to be in a relationship in the past, I kind of came to the realization, is there something in my teeth? No. I came to the realization that I had very skewed and warped thoughts about relationships, about how they work, about the person I want to be in a relationship with. Weird standards, weird thinking, just a weird overall sense of what a relationship is. And so I was like, why is it like this in my brain? And am I the only one? And I have found that nay. I am not the only one. See, the way that love is portrayed in the media is very important for how we then go about seeking, pursuing partners and relationships, because everything that we consume, even though we may not know it, informs the way that we behave. If you're not conscious of what you're consuming, then you're not conscious of what's going into your subconscious. Just let that sink in for a second. Now, I watched a video from, I think the channel is called The Take, and they were like taking another take on the romantic movie Love Actually and dissecting it and showing why it's actually not really a cute romantic movie, and it's more a documentary on toxic relationships and how to have one, if we're being honest. And so I will link the video below because it's a very interesting video, and it clicked for me then that I was like, this is why I have a warped sense of partnership and relationships. The media I'm consuming is inaccurate to what happens in real life. Why is it that it feels like watching a film or watching television series or seeing people on social media and relationships in the media feels like something I aspire to more than a normal relationship I would see with people walking down the street? So, let's start with love as portrayed in film. Now, because of the video that I watched on The Take, I am going to be speaking a lot about the film Love Actually. When I was younger, things that were portrayed in Love Actually as relationships made sense to me. As a 13-year-old child, seeing someone stalk another person, like Keira Knightley was stalked in the film, and then seeing those people, the stalker and the stalkee, get together, like that made sense in my head. I was like, yeah, that's romantic. That's romance. That's real relationships. Or the whole dynamic of boss employee, like I don't know the characters' names because actually I haven't watched Love Actually, and I don't think I'm going to. But I'll put the pictures up on the screen. The relationship between the boss and his domestic worker who was not from America and couldn't speak English, their dynamic was so completely flipped because she couldn't understand anything he was saying, and all he thought, he didn't even like her, he liked the idea of her, because I mean, in all honesty, he didn't know her really. Literally all he knew was that this woman is pretty, and so yes, and she's shy and meek. Like, sir, yes, she's shy and meek because you are her boss, and she probably feels intimidated by you, and the dynamic that you have going on here, like socioeconomically, politically, racially, it's just, of course she's gonna come off as meager and shy. And I mean, you also don't know her, so you're in love with this idea that you're creating of her. And so these two things, I think the whole alpha omega dynamic, or the boss employee dynamic, or the top dog bottom dog dynamic, which is usually the male as the more dominant one and the female as the more like submissive, like cutie pie little girl type relationship that is portrayed a lot in films. And then there's also the yandere, I don't know if I'm saying that right, I think I am, the yandere stalking kind of relationship that's also portrayed and romanticized in the media. Like, all he does is think about me, and he recorded just me on my wedding day, and he kidnaps me and keeps me in his basement because I'm a danger to myself, and we should be in a relationship because that's the only healthy option for me. Like, that's not normal. It's unhealthy. But the media that I was consuming consistently, and I feel like a lot of the relationships in film are portrayed like that, so much so to the point where we think that that kind of stuff is normal, and obviously not to the most extreme extents. Like, nobody thinks that actual stalking is romantic, but there are variations of that, lower variations of that, that stem from that thought that we don't really recognize. Like, if some boy is consistently just like scrolling through your Instagram all the time, liking all your pictures and commenting all your pictures, like, oh my god, he's like obsessed with me, it's so cute, or it's creepy. Are we gonna give that a thought, or are we just gonna ignore that and just romanticize this weird thing going on here? Is that what we're gonna do? Okay. So I mean, that's just what I see, you know? Is that making sense? Now, for the example that I'm going to be using for television as a media forum and love portrayed in it is the show How to Get Away with Murder, because I have just realized that the show could have potentially just messed me and my thoughts on relationships up forever if I didn't take a step back and really think about what was being portrayed to me. In How to Get Away with Murder, most of the relationships in How to Get Away with Murder were formed because of trauma bonding, which, if I am not incorrect, trauma bonding means basically like we share traumas and like we have similar traumas, so we talk about that and we end up bonding over that, and that feels like we have such a deep connection and we understand each other and it's so romantic. But really, it's not romantic. You guys are just admitting your traumas that you have to each other, and that's pretty much all. But because of the way that trauma works in your brain, when you find someone with a similar trauma to you and you can relate to them and you guys kind of comfort each other, it feels very cozy and blanketed, and like such a strong emotional connection is being formed, and it feels also romantic. But it's very dangerous to trauma bond with someone. Building a relationship off of trauma bonding is not necessarily something that I would recommend. I would not say go out there and find someone who shares your traumas or someone that you can trauma bond with to form a relationship, because often it's just very toxic. Because am I making sense? It's not healthy to begin a bond and a basis of a relationship off of trauma. Another thing they do in How to Get Away with Murder is portray relationships as a fixer-fixie type of thing. Asha and Michaela, for example, or even Wes and Laurel, or even Wes and Maggie, or even Laurel and Frank, even Bonnie and Annalise and Sam, Annalise and Nate, Annalise, everyone. Every relationship, friendship, relationship, romantic, almost every relationship in that show has an aspect of a fixer and a fixie, and more like I want to fix you, I want to take away all your problems, and I want to make you feel less insecure and you're beautiful. And you know, instead of the fixee, the person who's being fixed, being able to get this self-assurance and kind of build themselves up, you know, like through like therapy or like just self-discovery, they get a lot of that stability and kind of, I don't know what I'm doing, I mean like a pillar, imagine a pillar that you're leaning on. They get a lot of that stability and kind of self-reassurance from another person, the fixie in the relationship, and that's what forms this relationship, is because like one person wants to take care of, the other wants to be taken care of, but we're not actually bonding or getting to know each other. You're just trying to fix me and I just want to be fixed, or I'm just trying to fix you. Because I thought that it was so cute how everyone cared so much about each other, like, oh, these relationships are all so passionate, and I don't know why I'm Australian, but all the relationships are so passionate and like full of infatuation, but you know what I mean, that's pretty much all it was trauma, infatuation, and a lot of passion and burning romance. Like nothing was ever normal and boring and a normal relationship. The fact that every episode is traumas. There's not really going to be a time where you can bond normally, if you know what I'm saying, with the person that you're with. But just like, it's not normal. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like you understand me. Do you understand me? I feel like you understand me. And I just feel like it was so dangerous, because you consume that and then you think like, is this how relationships work? Is this relationship how go? Do we just trauma bond and kiss? Or are you just you're gonna fix me, baby? You're gonna give me all my self-confidence back that I've lost over the last 10 years? Is that what you're gonna do? No. You can't be that enmeshed and codependent on your partner. Look at me speaking as if I am some kind of certified therapist when I am not, as if I am some kind of certified psychologist when I'm just a teenage girl who has a lot of thoughts, okay? I'm not a psychologist. Don't take any of this as law. I'm not the Bible. No, I just have opinions. And so that's what I think about a lot of the relationships that are portrayed in television. And How to Get Away with Murder was my example for television. Let's move on. Now, relationships as portrayed in social media is just, if anything, it's the simplest out of all of them. It's really just perfection. There's not much else, there's not much else to say. You go on TikTok and all the relationships you see are like with the caption, if we're not silly like this, I don't want it. If he can't slam dunk me in the pool like I am a basketball, I don't want it. A lot of it is just the perfection of it all. Do you know what I mean? That whole, baby, I like lightning in a bottle, that trend. Love Struck, Electric Love. That Electric Love trend, where they put the camera and people are kissing, you know what I mean? And the whole best friend to lovers trope is very prevalent in social media. Just the idea of relationships being utter and complete perfection. No one is broadcasting the problems that they have in their relationships on social media, and I can understand why relationships are very private, and I'm not saying that people now have to go and be like, this is what me and my husband spoke about in couples therapy last year. Yeah, we're so real. Like, I'm not saying people have to do that at all, but I am saying that a lot of what you see on social media is just the highlights, as we all probably know by now, but especially with relationships, it's like very much highlights. And I feel like, I'm not saying you watching, anyone who consumes a lot of that media begins to build this idea of a relationship in their mind that is very much perfection, or very much, as in television, trauma bonding and fixing, or very much infatuation and yandere and stalking and that. People build this idea of what a relationship and what a partner is going to be like or should be like, and when it's not like that, we're like, we're breaking up. Because honestly, you are not as damaged as James Buchanan Barnes, and I cannot fix you, and so therefore this relationship cannot work. That's how it happens with media consumption. That's how it happened partially with me, because I had those thoughts in relationships, and it took me a while to be like, wait, nay. nay. So I just wanted to come on here and say that. I just wanted to come on here and discuss how relationships are portrayed in the media and how dangerous and damaging that can be for the youth and for people who are consuming that, just building their idea of what a relationship can be, should be, will be based off of what they see. You kind of have to have communication, and for some reason communication is so unromanticized in relationships in the media. I feel everyone is sort of just like, you should be able to read my mind. If you're my boyfriend, tell me what I'm thinking right now. Tell me what I'm thinking. See, you can't. You're not my husband. We're not meant to get married. But communication is the essential thing. And like, for some reason, when people think that they have to ask for a hug or ask for their partner to create a cute date or ask for validation in this situation, for some reason it becomes that much less romantic, when actually you could think of it like, oh, I asked my partner for a hug and they gave me a hug. Like, how sweet, they listen to me and they care about me and they care about my feelings and what I'm going through, and etc, and romanticizing the norm and the normalcy of relationships and communication. And yes, so that's what I had to say on that. That's what I think. I think don't do everything that is portrayed in the media, and don't look for relationships as you see them as portrayed in the media, because relationships in real life are very, very different. I'm gonna end the video here. I have had so much fun. I have had an abundance of fun speaking to you about my findings. If you enjoyed this video, tell me. If you didn't enjoy this video, don't tell me. Please, I will cry. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed, and I hope you have a good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever. Bye.